guys, welcome back to my channel, So Make It. It's Stephanie. We're going to work on the bear today. And now I'm working on the front of the bear. This dart is going to form the brow. Again, she's marked the dart with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So now I'm going to line up the marks that I made for the darts. And I'm putting them right sides together or exterior together so that dart will be on the inside. It won't be seen when we turn it. And I'm just repeating that step for the other front panel. So, and again with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, making the dart to form the brow. Now I'm just going to put right sides together and sew the front half together. We can look at the pattern where she's marked the start and stop points for sewing. We'll start at the top of the head and sew all the way around to the bottom of his belly. Now I'm ready to pin the bear together. I'm just going to line up the darts that I've sewn together. I'm going to line him up at the neck and then at the bottom. Just throw some pins in there to make sure that he stays lined up so we can sew it together. Now that I have it pinned, I'm going to sew along the front line of the bear. Points that we marked from the pattern to start and stop sewing. The front does not have an opening for stuffing, that's in the back. So I'm just going to sew with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to go slow around the curves, making sure to remove the pins as I come to them so I don't break my needle. Now I'm pulling out the safety eyes and nose. If you're planning to stitch buttons on or stitch eyes and noses on in a different manner, you can do that at a later time. But if you're using the safety ones, you'll need to do that now. Here are the eyes, nose, and the little plunger washers that will keep the eyes and nose secure. Now I'm just going to take a seam ripper and poke a hole through both layers of fabric. And this is going to make the hole for the eyes. We'll make a hole on each side. Once I have the hole poked through, I'm going to unfold the fabric so that I'm seeing the exterior or the right side. And I'm going to insert the eye. Put the plunger on the back. And then repeat it for the other side. Now I'm deciding where I want to place the nose. I'm going to go right along the marking that was provided on the pattern. This time I'm going to go very close to the stitch line and just make a small hole along the side of the stitch line, being careful not to cut into those stitches. I don't want it to bust apart. I'm only going through one layer this time because I only need one nose. Now I'm ready to put his nose in place. I'm just going to poke it through the hole and then put the plunger on. And now the bear has a face. And now we're ready to sew the back of the bear together. We're going to start at this top, leave an opening for stuffing and turning, and then we're going to sew around to the bottom. We will put the darts in the back of the bear as well to form his bottom so that he'll sit properly. I marked the line for the dart just like on the front, and I'm just sewing with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'll do this for both sides of the bear's bottom. Now that we have the darts sewn in, I'm just going to place the right sides or exteriors together and put some pins in so we can sew the backs together. Just going to place the pins in, lining up the fabric from the bottom, lining up the darts, and going around. I had no idea my battery died, so what I've done, I've sewn all the way around, leaving the opening, but I did so with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And the darts are on the inside, of course, so you're not going to see those when we have the bear turned. Feel free to like and subscribe, and in the next video we'll be putting this bear together.